Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Daily Grind. We're back this week. Hopefully,
And
we
not
all
sick.
have good.
Yeah.
I will say this. For those who tune in, all three of you, um, there probably will not be a show on Friday this week because I have to work loading for a concert up at my job. But we're gonna try to get you Monday, Thursday for sure this week. All right. Been sick a lot. I had enough respiratory situation going on. You were sick last week.
Yeah, I had a sinus infection. Springtime blew in with a bang.
Yeah. Plus it was spring break for you, and you had the kids around the house. So it
Yeah,
was,
my 1 week off, and I was sick the whole week.
yeah, isn't that great? But no, we're back this week, and we're gonna try to make it work best we can. Again, we call this show the Daily Grind for a lot of reasons. A lot of it is because it's just a grind to get up in the morning and try to do this stuff. So especially when one of us works until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and then school. But I enjoy. I like the repetition that comes with the show, though. But this last week, man, my like throat was swollen to here. Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't have been able to talk. I would have just sat here and looked pretty while you talked the whole time. I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been able to
Well,
contribute much.
well, the bad thing was that well, it was a bad thing, but this past Saturday we got together over at at the VFW in Gainesville. Shout out to a longtime coworker of ours, Kat. She was out there.
Yeah.
It was very cool night. I drank a little bit too much. I ain't gonna lie. And my God, did I have a hard time yesterday trying to recover? Like, drinking for me doesn't really happen very often, but when it does, oh my God, I mean, I couldn't walk yesterday very well, and I'm trying to walk across a mile and a half building. Just it was a little rough last night. So there though.
That's because Pampalamo was buying shots.
Oh my God. Yep. It was a lot of fun though. We had our fun and
You needed it though to let loose.
yeah, yeah. So anyway,
And I'm
we're
sorry
back.
if I keep looking over here, guys. So I got another monitor, but I have to move my camera over to the other monitor. So it's still on my old monitor. So like I'm looking over here at Trey on the new monitor, but my camera's still over here. So I'm gonna try and look this way, but then I also like to look at who I'm talking to, which is over here.
All right.
So, don't mind me. I
It's all
got
right.
some videos that we were supposed to watch for Fun Friday, and then Trey slept in.
I did.
And
Was completely thrown on the bus there.
so I'm going to make Trey suffer today, and we'll get
Yes,
back
you
to because I got things for tomorrow. I got like the TikTok ban. I got home foreclosures are in session. It's 2008 all over again. We'll get back to our depressing shit tomorrow.
Well, let's face it. I mean, when Texas passed the rule, especially that you can't watch Pornhub in Texas, I mean, let's face it, it shut down the entire state.
Is that really a thing?
That's the thing. They're trying to keep Pornhub away from kids in Texas when they're trying to make you have to verify who you are to get on there. So they haven't quite figured that system out yet.
Yeah.
So
Well, then you gotta kind of straddle the privacy lines there because if someone has to verify their identity to get on there, then there's a chance that could be traced. Like, what are you doing looking at so much porn?
I don't know. That's all. I mean,
I'm not a fan of the porn industry, but I just, at the end of the day, people have the right to look at whatever they want to look at. But
yeah. But when you're trying to keep kids away from it, then that's kind of an issue there too. I mean, there's nothing worse than having your at that time 9-year old say, "Dad, do you watch Do you watch the Hub? The what?" So yeah. All right, let's go on the TikTok video that you sent me here.
your favorite.
this person become like our third person of the show now. And she's really a
Well,
beanie.
you know what? I just like getting your side of this stuff because it's like, as a girl, it's like we've all experienced some of these type of men that she's
Mm,
talking about. Like, I've been through my fair share of D bags. Okay, they're a
okay.
dime a dozen.
All
Um,
right.
but I'm always curious to see like what the male perspective on these type of guys is. Like,
Okay.
what do you think about this kind of stuff? So just it's
So,
nice to get other than like to make it just look like it's man hating from a bunch of women.
all right. Okay. Here's one. I'm not sure what order they're supposed to be in, but I'm trying to play this as best I can.
It doesn't matter. I don't remember, but whatever.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
TikTok and the angry men took my original video down, so let's try it again. Well, since I've been more mindful of the children in this video, let's take it from the top where we left off yesterday. Like I said yesterday, every time I upload women-empowered content to the internet, there is always a population of people that says things like, this doesn't happen, men don't think like this, you're making this up, cap, feminists are the problem because they're the ones who make issues out of thin air. Gotcha. I just find it hysterical because it's the same group of people that seem to have a large passion on the issue of, let's call it child brooming. They'll say, oh, well, young boys are being broomed. They're being broomed today to be more feminine and less masculine. They're not being raised to be men. They need to be strong. They need to demand respect. They need to play by their role. Brooming. They're being broomed. Okay. The video you just watched, that's not child brooming to you? That's not a harmful influence to you? These prepubescent adolescent kids having their first experience with women through this content. And the first thing that they say when seeing this guy Sneako is Andrew Tate F the women. They have probably yet to cross that physical boundary between themselves and another young girl, and they're already expecting something from her. Their narrative is already F the women, not to mention the obvious homophobia and transphobia. I can't even begin to touch on that. The thing that's really irking me, though, is as this video has now circulated the internet a little bit, there's actually people trying to make the argument, well, women have been saying the same things to young girls for decades. They're telling young girls to hate men, to fear men, telling them to be independent, they don't need a man. And so women, they don't want to date men, they don't want to sleep with men, and they don't want to get married, and they don't want to have kids, and they don't want to have families. The fact that you even think that this is comparable is actually certifiably insane. Women telling young girls to be independent, not rely on a man, not get stuck in a bad situation you can't get out of, to watch your back in public places because in certain environments men cannot be trusted, is not even remotely close to what is happening in that video. You want to know the only way how men are affected by what women tell young girls? What, they don't get laid? They get bad-mouthed? Ooh! You want to know how women are affected from this hatred that you're teaching young boys? Do I even need to, do the words even need to come out of my mouth? Men are afraid of getting rejected. Women are afraid of being unalived. Like, how is that even a comparison to you? We are only saying this to young women because of what's being said to young men. It is a reaction to that action. And of course, there's Sneako in the video saying, what have I done? When he knows exactly what he's done because that's how he makes his money. The thing that's really sad is that everybody on that side of the internet, Pearl, Provolone with a skirt, and this kid Sneako, Timon from The Lion King, will simply displace accountability, offload it, because there's no way that those kids could have been influenced by them. Disgusting.
Okay, so the video was long, so I had to cut out the beginning. The video that she's talking about, I'll hold it up right here so that people can see it.
Upload this video. Enraged. This was my fourth time trying to upload this video. TikTok and the angry men took my original video down, so let's try it again. Well, since I've been
Okay. So she's trying to cover the kids' faces in there, but they pretty much walk up to this guy. I think his name's Nico or something. And he's like an Andrew Tate type influencer that's like, you know, we've talked about this before, the red pill guys, the women belong in the kitchen. And so you see these kids that are like, what, like 10? And they're saying, fuck the women, fuck the gays. So what do you think about what she's saying there about
I cannot handle her voice.
I know you love her voice, but ignore the voice.
That's hard to do.
About what the content of what she's saying.
Uh,
About them, you know, raising these young boys to already, they're 10 years old saying fuck the women and thinking that women are beneath them.
Okay. To be honest with you, I had a hard time getting past the voice. I had a very hard time getting past her voice. That New York, I want to be a tough New York accent she tried to throw out there.
Well, I don't think it's that she's trying to be tough. She's from Long Island. That's just how they talk.
Yeah, she's a beating.
I have a couple of friends from Long Island. They just have
very high opinion of themselves type thing.
You have to go out there though. If you're talking New York City, it's like if you don't care about you, no one else out there is going to. Like, there's a lot of people in that city.
I know, but I hate the mannerisms, the whole, you know, the whole look. I mean,
I don't mind it, but I'm from LA, so it's like everyone got an opinion of themselves in LA.
I mean, but here's the thing: if a guy did that too, I'd be upset with that too. So, I mean, I hate the whole, you know. You hear me? You hear what I gotta say? You hear what I got? You know, okay, whatever. You know, I mean, the reason why I don't do TikTok videos and probably the reason why I can't make any money off it either. I think she's probably making money off TikTok and doing the whole, you want to listen to me? You want to listen to what I'm going to say? That thing. I'm like, no, I'm out. I can't do it. Because, again, there is a part of funniness that comes with that. And you get a lot of that with a lot of New Yorkers who kind of come up with the whole tough person attitude that they got, right? Yes, especially Giants fans. Oh my god. I'm out on that part. I'm just out. You know, again, I just, it's funny too because my mom was born from New York, and you know, I never got that from her. You know, so. That's just my opinion. I mean, look. I mean, I only got more to play on her, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun with her. But let's go and do another one here real quick.
Well, just the little boys being raised up to think that way about women. What do you think about that?
Well, who's raising them to think that way?
It's these red pill guys. The red pill guys who are raising up these young boys to say, fuck the gays, fuck the transgenders, fuck the women.
Well, first of all,
raising them to think that women are beneath them and belong in the kitchen.
First of all, hatred like that is taught from at home, okay? And that's a problem you're gonna run into a lot of people these days because their ideology they're coming from, it's coming from their house. You know, I mean, they then all of a sudden wake up one day and go, God, you know, gays are really a problem. You know, I mean, that was ingrained in them. Oh, be afraid of this, be afraid of that, and you know, this isn't normal. Ugh. You know, and I'm like, dude, what is normal? I mean,
ain't no such thing.
I mean, listen, we live in the United States of America. Yet people don't realize we were banned from every country out there. We came over here to set up a new life for ourselves. Of course, we're gonna have a culture of styles. Of course, we're gonna have, you know, a cluster F of just, you know, things that we all can't. Not everybody's gonna agree with, but we're united with it. You know, that's a part of the United States. We're united to think that, look, this is a country you can come to have all that freedom. But we take so much advantage of that to where now we try to make that to where, well, yeah, we're the United States, but you need to think this way of thinking. That's not you being naive. That's just being linear. And I mean, again, I don't particularly lean one way or the other when it comes to, you know, I think I'm just more of accepting to everything, and that's only because you know I know there's no, I mean, there's always a new norm, you know.
Hmm.
Um, Case in point, uh, look at some of the greatest bands or singers that are out there. You know, Elton John, Queen, right? There are those who sit there and go, "I can't listen to them." Why is that? Well, they're gay. So
And
I mean, they still got great music. Yeah, but I can't. I really can't stand to listen to them.
Queen has a song about fat bottom girls.
Love that. I love that movie. I love that song. I mean, look. I mean, the thing is that we're supposed to be the accepting country, right? We're supposed to take in everything and go, okay, you're fine. You can live here. You're like, welcome. Yeah, it's funny how we are a country full of immigrants. Now we're trying to banish immigration. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, we don't want you coming over here. But yeah, we did. Don't worry about that. You know, I mean, we took land away from actual people that are living here. So, for us to sit there and go, well, we're not going to allow you to come over because, well, you have to pass the test that probably 75% of most Americans can't pass anyway. So it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And I mean, it,
Don't raise your kids to be assholes.
yeah, don't do that. Like, I look at my son Cooper, right? And
Could you imagine Cooper talking like the boys in the video?
no, no, because he knows I would never allow it. And the thing is that he tries to, when he's around me, at least. He may be different around his friends, but when he's around me, he always tries to think in the same way I do when it comes to you know listening to the whole story. Don't listen to part of it. I think that's the problem that you run into with politics. People listen to half the story,
Yeah.
and that they don't hear the entire part because they've already have it stuck in their mind, their agenda of how they're gonna vote. They're gonna twist and turn everything around to make it fit their agenda. And again, that's not being accepting or listening or what. That's the biggest problem we have in this country. People don't want to listen.
Yes.
You know,
They do a lot of talking and not enough listening.
yeah. Or like if you try to sit there and like say you go up to one person who's already stuck in one way of thinking, right? And you try to tell them about this, and this about what you're thinking, and all of a sudden they twist it around. And all of a sudden it's back to fitting their agenda, and you just talk for no reason. You know.
Yeah.
So it's annoying, and again, it makes us not want to talk to those people, thus causing the friction that we currently have. So, and I don't like that personally because, once again, what's your take? See, that's the biggest problem. We ask, "What's your take?" But we don't listen to what their take is. We hear what they got to say and go, "Okay, well, you're wrong."
Yeah, we listen to it just to rebuttal it. Like,
Yeah,
well, actually, what happened was.
I mean, you and I do that here. But the thing is, though, is that I think we actually listen to what each other have to say. We throw our little take and you go, "What do you think about that?" Okay, well, that's not what I'm thinking, but okay, good enough. I mean, once again, there is no dividing line that anybody has, especially when it comes to politics, right? Either you're a gun-toting, pro-life, this and that, or you are pro-choice and you are anti-gun, and there's no in between.
They
You
don't
know,
let you be in the middle.
no, and like we all sit here and go, well, once again, another kid brought a gun to school. There's one person that says, well, if we armed all the teachers in the school, we wouldn't have this problem. So this should be the Wild West. No, 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 not necessarily. It shouldn't be that. So we should just let them shoot a kid. No, 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 it's not that. Then what's the answer? Well, don't worry about that. It's not my problem. You know, my
It's not
kid would
your
never.
problem. Tell it to your kid's school.
Yeah. So it's stupid. So, all right, let's go to the next video here.
Try to look past the voice so we can talk about what she's saying.
I'm trying to. It's hard.
Please, for
I'm
me, because you're my
for,
bestie.
yeah, I got you, buddy. I got you.
You girls with kids to realize that you ain't got that many options. Yeah, you can't be requiring shit over here. You lucky we even here. I mean, options is low.
Honey, ripping on single mothers is not the defense mechanism that you think it is just because you have childhood trauma and self-guilt of feeling like you robbed your own mother of her opportunities and options. Okay? Look, I understand that feeling like a burden as a child is a very heavy weight to carry, but ripping on women in the present is not going to take away your pain from the past. And it's very evident to any woman with a brain that all you're saying is stemming from a really insecure child that doesn't feel like he's really amounted to what he was worth. And that's fine, but you can take it up with a therapist. Sliding scale if need be, and you could slide your way back down into your house where your problems stay, because that seems to be where the call is coming from. Because I'm sorry, but in the real world, the stuff you're spewing just doesn't seem to be the case. How do I know? Because morgues don't like to hire men purely because they cannot keep them from not screwing the dead bodies. Hello? So how about instead of airing out your grievances on the internet about a single mother that you clearly still aren't over, which may mean single mothers are fine and you're the problem, you can surely deal with your own problems as they are not women's to fix.
I'ma need you girls with
That was a lot.
I have a question. Does she have a man?
Yeah.
Does she?
She's been, what, 5 years with this guy.
And he puts up with her? She's very point driven, you know. This is my point, and you're gonna listen to it no matter what. Type of thing.
Well, I mean, it's TikTok. You gotta get
Yeah,
across like a minute, you know.
yeah. And you get wrong. I mean, that guy's a douche too. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, what is that? That's a really weird take. Like single women, single mothers, you bring absolutely nothing to the table, so you can't be picky. Like what? Like that's a hot take.
Well,
I know a lot of guys that think like that though. There's a very big, and it's primarily across the same group of guys that we're talking about, these red pill dudes that think that, you know, a woman's value declines with children. Yes, Pam, you should definitely talk like a New Yorker because Trey will love it.
yeah, sure I would. So well that goes.
But they really think that I hear it a lot. Like a woman's value declines, you know, after she has a kid. She's not worth much anymore. She's a used body. But the same dudes will not want a virgin. They'll want a virgin, but then they don't want a virgin. They want someone experienced. They want you to like be a virgin that already knows how to suck. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
You know, Rob Williams had one of the best jokes about about people from the Middle East who become suicide bombers, because the idea is you die and you go to heaven and you're treated with 72 virgins. Those of us who've been with one virgin will go, I don't know. Look, yeah, nothing worse than me with a girl that doesn't know what to do. So yeah, it doesn't work out so well.
But that's just such a weird take. Like, you would think a woman who is a great mother, her value has increased to me, because not only are you seeing that she's a great woman, but being a mother is something that takes strength and takes discipline, and you're raising up this next generation, and it takes a lot of work, and you got to raise the kids on top of everything you're doing behind it. Especially if you're a single mother, you're holding down a home, you're raising a generation, you're doing a lot of things all at one time. To me, that makes that person even more valuable, not less.
But let me ask you a question: is that person also looking for a relationship with another human being, or are they just more focused on their kid?
I mean, it might be a 50-50 thing. Like, the kids are always going to come first. You got to know that when you're going to date someone with kids.
Right.
And you shouldn't expect to be put first over children. Children at the end of the day.
But you should be a priority though if you are a part of that person's.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're not a part of that, and that person is like told you flat out, look, they come before you do, and you and I'll see you when I see you, that type of thing.
Then you're not actually ready for a relationship, and you probably shouldn't date.
Yeah, so.
I definitely think there's a middle to that. Like, if you're not willing to like compromise with that person around the child, then you're probably not ready to date. But also, obviously, that child is coming first because that is a child and they need to be reared and they need, And then it also depends on the age of the child. If you're dating a woman who has younger kids, know that that's going to take a lot more work. Whereas if she has older kids, then, you don't have to do much work with a teenager other than, give them some money and a video game and they'll be in their room for the next 6 hours.
Yeah. Good old days.
So it's like, it really depends. But, it is work, I guess, yeah, to date someone with kids, but it's worth it. Like, that person's going to bring a lot of value to you. There's sacrifices to it, yeah, but there's sacrifices with anyone.
Yeah, but the thing I run into is the fact that that person, let's say that this person is ready to date, right? She's got a kid and a kid or two, and she's trying to be a single mother, and she's like, take all of her pictures on Facebook are just these kids, right? Hardly anything about this person, just kids here, whatever. You go to be in their life, and you try to make there's a lot of work that a guy has to go. If a guy is that committed to her, and he wants her to see that, look, I may not be something you want to take on, but if I am, this is what you're gonna get with me, and just understand that I'm there for you and your kids. And but she'll sit there and go, that's nice, but my way's better, and like she's so singular in her way of thinking to where she'll never, what do you call it, marginalize. Oh, so she'll marginalize that person in place of her kids.
Yeah.
And that guy or girl feels marginalized in that process, and then see what can I say here? It's hard to know when a person is ready to date, being someone single without children. But it must be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's going to be responsibilities and there's going to be things that come with every relationship. And you just have to find your person that you're willing to find in that middle ground with. If that person, like you're talking about, Trey, is still very marginalized and they're making you feel a certain type of way, then that relationship's just not meant to be. You have to, there has to be a certain level of maturity when you go into relationships with people with kids, where it's like, if you can see that they're just a little too stuck in their ways and they're not ready to budge, then the reality is they're probably not actually ready to date yet, and on to the next. Maybe we'll get together in the future.
Right, and then again, there's a way.
But the problem with people is people don't like to be mature about relationships. Do we ever just look at someone and be like, "Oh, I think it's over"? No, we'll sit there for another year, let things fucking spiral, and then we'll break up violently. Like, we as human beings tend to never take the more mature road in relationships. We wait for everything to implode first.
Very much. Here's the thing: everybody does this. As a man and woman, everybody waits for the other shit to drop, and they'll sit there and go, "All right." And the thing is, they'll test you in that process too. They'll sit there and go, "Okay, the shoe hasn't dropped yet. So what if I get more distance here, and more distance here, and more distance here? Eventually, he's going to realize I'm not part of this, or realize that
you're already out of the picture."
Yeah, you taking yourself out of the picture. Sit them, but you didn't tell them that it's over. You sat there and went, "No, we're fine. Don't mind me. I'm still here. Really, I'm still here." And then
and then he goes to get the milk and bread from the store and never comes back.
That happens. I mean, again, that's because nobody communicates, because they're afraid of the argument. They're afraid of the accusations. They're afraid of, it happens.
And I'm so bad about that sometimes, and I think it's because I grew up, I love my mama to death, but my mom's a yeller. My grandma's a yeller. There are people that my grandma will follow you down the hallway to argue some more. You're like, and I cannot stand arguing with people. I cannot stand yelling. I guess maybe it's like PTSD, like trauma from my childhood, where I hate screaming and yelling because my mom dated drunks. So there was always lots of screaming and yelling outside my bedroom door as a child. And so I just hate screaming and yelling. I hate the arguing. So I will take myself out of the situation. I will walk away. I will keep stuff to myself because I don't feel like it's worth the argument. But what that does is then that builds that resentment inside without you realizing it. So it's not a healthy way to do it either. And I know that's something that I need to work on. But I also know where it stems from. I know, like growing up around all this yelling, I hate arguing with people. But then what happens is I don't communicate my feelings enough.
Well, like, you know, I grew up with the words, "We'll see." My mom was
Women
big,
know.
my mom was big on, yeah, we'll see. And like, okay, look, that doesn't mean yes or no. That means there's a possibility. And you lean more on the possibility until it turns to a no. Then all of a sudden you go from we'll see to, yeah, probably not. Okay. Now we've gone the negative route on that. Then all of a sudden it's brought up again. And you're going, yeah, you know, I mean, it could happen. Okay, we gone from we'll see to probably not. It could probably hit. Probably. Which one is it? I'm not sure. So, and like my parents, you know, God rest them, God rest their souls. They've you know, for 31 years they really made it work with each other. You know, that last year when my dad was gone for such a long time, and he would come home 3 days, be gone for 3 weeks, gone from home for 3 days, type thing, not realizing the double life that he had going on in Nashville at the time, and wouldn't tell any of us about it. But you know, just the whole thing of, you know, how they stayed together that last year was kind of incredible, because he was spending money and she was having to pay bills, and nobody was communicating. And you know, it was, and I'm living on my own at that point, so I'm like, okay, guys, are y'all okay? Yeah, we're fine. And it's probably why I don't like the words, yeah, I'm fine, because it's a cop out. It's a cop out. So anyway, we got more videos here from.
But yeah, that guy in the beginning has a stupid take.
Yeah. I just won't get on video and show how dumb I am. That kind of thing. Yeah, whatever. So.
I like what she says though about, I feel like you have some problems
By
with your singing.
By the way, what is the deal with her putting shit in her face to like let's do this in front of the mirror? I'm trying to make a better, you know, I'm a better person.
It's a face mask. We as women do that.
I guess. All right. I think so. I thought she was better with the mask on. You know, and anyway.
So much about our society that we have evolved to a place where we make ass crack pants. Bitches wear them all over the place. We have yassified the plumber's crack. Can you imagine going back in time and telling our founding fathers, telling Benjamin Franklin, hey, your ass crack is going to be a fashion statement. I never thought that my ass crack could be a part of my outfit. I thought that was a bad thing. I have a memory from 4th grade that's very clear to me where it was a very bad thing. And as a curvy woman who only thought this was for skinny bitches, thin-thighed bitches, I have fallen down the rabbit hole, I fear. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? I ordered one and they sent me 3. They sent me pink, gray, and black. How are you gonna beat that fucking deal? Are we joking? Are we kidding? The pink and the army print is giving Bobby Jack circa 2004, but like, come on. I wore these when my boyfriend came home last night. There's still a handprint. The same way that I want to meet the person that discovered milk because they got the bright idea to pull the cow's udder, I want to meet the person who thought this was needed and thank them. You know what scares me?
I am going to admit that I bought a pair of those pants after that video because I wanted to see what they look like. They're not bad. They're really comfy.
All right, the next video is she's a lot to handle. I mean, them crazy New York bitches, they're hard to handle.
Italian.
I guess, and just that whole think highly of yourself type thing. I'm like, guys, just shut up. You know.
See, I don't think it's a bad thing, but like you were raised in the South. I was raised in the West Coast, so it's a lot different. I would kill to have her kind of confidence because I grew up as a very mid-sized curvy girl, with a bunch of surfer bitches that were this big around. And I was out of the kids' clothes before my friends were out of the kids' clothes. I was wearing bras before my friends were wearing bras. And it made things very uncomfortable. I thought there was something wrong with my body for a lot of years. And to have her type of confidence would have made my 20s so much better. Like, I know to you it may seem, because especially, I'm going to say people from the South, you have a very humble mentality, right? And so people out here are very friendly. They're very, especially about body types, they're a lot more understanding with curvy women. On the coast, it's not so much that case, especially the West Coast.
It's very materialistic on both sides of the coast.
And so I will say that, like, her confidence may seem a turnoff to people from this area of the country, but to like where I grew up, yeah, she is really pretty. I can't deny that much. Voice, if you take away the voice for Trey, she is still pretty. But
to
have
I mean, that's a hell of a barrier right there. Is that damn voice, and that it's not her so much her voice, although it does play kind of a part of it. It's the attitude she brings with it, you know. And
but see, that's what I'm saying. To you, that attitude is a turnoff because of the way people are raised down here. But if you're from like the coastal areas, you know, West Coast, East Coast, that kind of confidence is sexy. That kind of confidence is something I would have killed to have in my early 20s. If I would have had that kind of confidence in my early 20s, I wouldn't have dated the amount of douchebags I dated. Because I would have realized what I was worth. That's because you're a hot bitch, Pam. I told you. And see, and you had a great time Saturday night when you had confidence in yourself. There is something about confidence. So it may be a turnoff to some. It does attract people to you a lot more than feeling sorry for yourself does.
But this is my thing. At what point does her attitude come off as a douchebag? See, to me, it's the whole, you know, women in light. I mean, the woman empowerment thing. Which, hey, look, I'm all for women being empowered. At the same time, it's a balance, right? I mean, you know, there's you know, guys. If guys feel empowered and go out publicly and say that, we're douchebags, right?
Well, I don't think so, but someone
but there are those who think that.
No.
Vice versa, right? So I'm like, look, it's this whole, you know, I'm better than you mentality type thing that I don't like. You know, that's why I don't like politics. You know, but I mean, like,
if you were to watch more of her videos, though, I will say I don't think she thinks she's better than anyone else. I will say she just has a lot of confidence in who she is. So it's more of a I don't give a bleeping bleep what you think about me because I really like who I am and I'm going to show it no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. So, but you would have to kind of watch through her videos to kind of get that. When you're only seeing snippets like this, then I could see where you're coming from. But I will say the attitude I get more from her in the other videos, because she'll openly talk about some of her insecurities with herself. Like she has very Mediterranean arms, you know, like those thicker arms, more muscular arms, and so she's very insecure about that. So I will say I think it's from the other videos. I would say it's more of a I just don't care what you think about me attitude, but I can see where it comes off like a I'm better than you.
Yeah, and once again, I think especially when you're doing a podcast, right? This is our view of how we think we're seeing the world, you know? And we're displaying that with our words and our emotions and everything else, which is fine. But, like, I don't come on here and go, all right, I'm going to be way better than everybody else who's got a podcast. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to display my opinion and be all right about it, and the hell with what you got to think about it. I can't do that because, again, there's always different frames of thought, right? You know, not everybody's going to agree with what I got to say. And that's fine. I can learn to live with that. That doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, when I'm watching these videos of a girl, by the way, kudos to her for being very self-assured and very, very self-aware of who she is. Okay? Kudos to her because there are a lot of them who go, I don't know. I mean, you know, I could be like this, but I could be like that too. And I don't know, I could be all over the world. Yeah, and I'm like, and that's a lot. That's especially when they have the same size brain as you have, but it's very, very a little bit that they're using. You know, and toward this girl on the video, she's, you know, whatever. And you know, again, we have these ways of getting people to come out. Look, I showed you a video of a kid this past Saturday. He cut a wrestling promo to display who he is, what he's about, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
How's that any different? He's playing a character, right? But his job is to get over. His job is to get the crowd to really get behind him one way or the other. And that's all she's
And being
doing.
self-assured, yeah, being self-assured is a way to get people to look at you. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I had that confidence when I was younger, then I wouldn't have had to go through so many weeds to get to the right person. Because it's like, when you're self-assured and you know who you are and you can talk the talk, people watch, people listen. And you attract the right kind of people when you know who you are. When you're kind of floundering, then you have to usually go through some weeds before you find the good stuff.
It was so funny too because I was at work last night and the guy I was trading, this really attractive lady walked by us. He's like, "Ooh, look at her! That's what I'm talking about." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Her?" It's like, "I'm too tired to look, sir. I don't have time for that." So it's like, look, you know, if I had realized the old saying is cheaper to keep her, you know, then maybe I'd have stayed in Aubrey.
Yeah.
But I just know where my mind would have gone from there, you know, because so much clutter, so much stuff I had to deal with. On top of that, once again, you have to go in life. You have to go through the pitfalls to understand what is best for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't go through all those, you let the whole world pass you by. We only get 100 years to figure this out. We even get less than that most of the time. You know? So when we're gone, we're gone. Then what? Then we're off to the great unknown, you know? You know, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Is there purgatory? Is there this? Is there that? We don't know. We don't know until we get there.
I like to think
So,
airport, everyone's going to be,
yeah. Or you know, like we see so many Hollywood movies about what death is like, and we're going, "Oh, that's nice," or "Oh, that's got to be hell," you know. So it's hard to say what's being saying.
y'all speaking the gospel. I'm living proof.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. Let's see what else we got here, video wise. Here.
I think there's one more, right? There's 4.
No, there's 2 more.
Okay.
I mean, look. To her credit, I ain't playing her videos, and I mean, I could clearly look at you and go, I don't want to play these, but I'm playing them just to have content.
I'll get other people in the next one, but I just, there's something I think thought-provoking sometimes about her content, and it's nice to get, like I said, a guy point of view on it, because then it doesn't come off as like so man-hating, you know, like this is actually thought-provoking conversation about, you know, dating someone with kids or raising your children correctly to not be so hateful. So there's good and stuff behind it, you know. She may present it in a way that some might find off-putting, but there is something to the content.
Yeah. I just hear girls who speaks like this and go, she doesn't smile a lot. You know? Maybe she does. I don't get
She
that
does
vibe,
based
though.
on her videos, but you
Put
gotta,
this
you know,
argument to rest really quick because I keep hearing that people think
Okay, just with that attitude right there, I can't. Yeah, I'm sorry.
put this argument to rest really quick because I keep hearing that people think that feminists don't believe in chivalry when, as a feminist, I can proudly tell you I haven't touched a doorknob in years. I have never walked on the outside of a sidewalk with my man. Ever. That doesn't happen. So, number one, you're wrong, but I think I know why you feel the way that you do. Here's the thing. Feminists have no problem with chivalry. Problem is women have grown tired of men using their chivalrous charm to manipulate and to get something. Whenever a man does chivalry for the sake to get something else out of it, it feels in vain. When I do something nice for somebody because I genuinely care about them, I don't need anything in return from you. I do it because I care about you. I do it because I see the worth in you. I do it because I understand your value. Okay, I don't need anything from it because I also understand my own. So women over the years have grown naturally skeptical of men's chivalry because so often it feels as though they abuse the chivalrous charm to lure us into manipulative situations or to lure us or peer pressure us into weird toxic relationships or to assume some sort of role or position that doesn't really align with us. Or abuse, many ways. I mean, how many times have women gone out to dates with men that are the masculine, chivalrous type of guy that the second that she says, no, I'm good, I just want to go home for the night, he's like, can we split the bill? All beliefs of his actual chivalry don't exist unless he gets something out of it. When you use it as a form of payment for something else from us, it feels fake and gives us a red flag. Not about, oh, pick better guys, you need to pick better guys. We try to take you off of first impressions, but so often some of these guys' first impressions are so good that we really want to believe in you. Because why? Because not all men, right? That's your line, not mine. But sometimes you let us down, bitch. We love chivalry, but for the right reasons. May your coffee slap and your ass be fat. Have a great day. I need to put...
I like that last part.
I have a question. What is the male version of a feminist?
If we're talking the extreme version, would probably be the red pill dudes. But
but then how's she different than that? I mean, because
well, I would say on the extreme end, but on the non-extreme end, would be probably like the Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles-esque conservatives.
Yeah, but like the word feminist, right?
I don't know if there's a term for it.
Yeah,
I
mean, are we just called douchebags at that point?
No, not to. I mean, not to me, but like,
I'm
a Ben Shapiro stan. I love it.
I mean, if you're a male chauvinist pig, right, and you come across like that, then women see that and they go, God, he's too much man for me, or whatever. You know, I mean, I don't know if men have a word like a feminist, you know, like from a male point of view type thing.
Because, yeah, I don't know if there's a term for it, but there is a group of guys like that. I just don't know what you would call them. But they're typically the more conservative, like Daily Wire-esque guys.
Mm.
Where they believe in gender roles and stuff like that, but not to the extent of the red pill guys that like think you just belong in the kitchen. They're willing to see a compromise there, but they still believe in men's roles and women's roles.
See,
but I don't think there's a word for it. They haven't copyrighted their term yet, you know.
Right. I don't understand the idea of singling yourself out into a certain type of group of person to sit there and think that your opinion is so highly met by those who think like you. Whereas I don't have that kind of group to do that. I mean, I have my guys. I have the guys I sit there and we'll talk shop with and everything else, and just have just have our own discussions about certain things, right? The thing is, I think because she is so pointed in that one singular direction, that she doesn't welcome outside interferences, or she won't have.
It's also kind of her shtick for her money making, but you always have to remember with social media, there's a point to it, I guess you would say.
But then what is the point? Because all it does is divide other people.
Well, I think it can do two things. It can divide, or it can also open people up to, like, the reason I like watching girls like her and other like women empowered feminist content, even though I don't know if I even consider myself really a feminist. Maybe an old school feminist, but definitely not the new versions. Um, but it keeps you open to the horizons, right? Like it keeps you from developing any tunnel vision. And I can see, like we talked about earlier, I can see the truth within what she's saying. Like you may not like the way she presents the content, but there is something to be said for what she's saying. Like what she's saying is like, if say you're in a relationship with a guy, and this can be both ways. This isn't just male to, this can be male to female, female to male. If you're doing an action only to get something in return, then you're no longer doing it just to be kind. You're to help them, or to to be chivalrous, to be whatever. You're doing it in exchange for something. Now it's a bargaining tool. Like, hey, if you give me some down there action, blah blah blah, then I'll put the kids to bed and do the dishes for you or something. I'll take a weight off of you if you give me something. Well, now you're no longer actually helping me. You're just helping me so that you can get your rocks off. And then it makes the action feel different.
Forced.
Then
Forced.
if you just came home and they had put the kids to bed and washed the dishes for you just to relieve something off your responsibility list. When there has to be something in exchange for it, it takes away from the action. And I think that's what she's trying to get across. It just comes across in a different way.
And once again, it's the attitude that she does it with that is off-putting to someone like me, right? Because again, having worked in the world of professional wrestling where I deal with my own share of funniness, you kind of see a lot of that through other people, and sometimes it takes you to the point where you can't trust who that person is because of the force field they're putting around them to be this way. I mean, what's going to make them crack to where they're like a human being as opposed to this, this kind of person that they're trying to portray, Because again, is she playing a character? Yeah, I think she's playing a character. Do I like the character? No. To me, she's a heel. But
but is there truth behind the content she's saying? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. With every villain out there in the movies and in wrestling and wherever else, there's always a hint of truth to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it's just how you take it as the other person. Do you take it as, okay, well, they're right, and I'll agree with them, and sure enough, they're not a heel to me anymore. And now I speak my language. Or you sit there and go, this is really pissing me off. Yeah, she's right, but damn, why she got to be like that? And there's a lot to that. And once again, that's where there's a little bit of genius in her that I could see. And I'll give her credit's due. She's found an act for that. Do I like it? No, because I think it's an act. I don't think there's a hint of realism that comes with it. Again, she might come from a very real personality, but she's using a personality to do that. When you work in my field, the best heels are those who are themselves. Turn the volume up. Yeah. I mean, that's how.
And that's why that's probably her shtick. She's turned herself up to 11, and then she has found stuff that is very thought provoking, and then she presents it in her way. I thought she said we had one more.
Oh, we do. I'm just putting it. I'm tired of looking at myself halfway through the screen. All right.
I swear to God, if I hear another person say that feminists hate all men, and that if a man wants to provide for a woman, a feminist wouldn't like it because she thinks that means that he must oppress a woman. Oh my God, feminists hate men. I'm going to actually pour cayenne pepper in my eyelids until my tears turn into blood. Look at this video.
So badly want to get married, if only for my wife to just know in her heart, like John will know what to do. I just think that level of being relied on is the hottest thing in the world.
Ditto, Jonathan Mayer. In agreement. 100%. Ditto. Right back at you. We too find it extremely attractive, extremely sexy to be able to rely on the person that we're with, to be able to know that the person that we're with is a responsible person that can also be there for us as much as we want to be there for them. I love that. I love being able to rely on my man. I love being able to call my man and be like, baby, what do you think I should do? Baby, I have this going on. What do you think? Because I'm thinking this, but what do you want? But it's so good. It's so nice. It's so nice. Call me insane, but I feel like that's trust. I feel like that's like the basic bare minimum that you need in any relationship.
What's hilarious about this is that she's fine with this, but most feminists are like, you want me to rely on you? That's terrible. It's because you hate women.
Incorrect. Feminists have no problem relying on the person that they're in a relationship with. We just know that it's important to have options. I want to rely on you because I love you and I trust you, not for the fact that you were born a man. Because I don't believe that just because you're born a man, that inherently makes you better at decision making, smarter, better with money, better at harvesting resources. I don't believe that. And we've seen so many times over the course of history that a really great, smart, intelligent woman will live a really dark, miserable life because the man that she was institutionally set up with is a piece of garbage. And if you just happen to hit the lottery with a bad match, you were shit out of luck for the rest of your life because you only have one stream of income, resources, food, shelter, clothing, all of the above. We're not saying we don't want to rely on you. We're not saying that we don't like you to provide, but we like to provide too. For our own security. What if that's our way for having respect for our relationship? We build this life together. But my biggest issue with what he was saying is that he's implying that you cannot in no way be an independent woman that wants to rely on herself and still have a traditional relationship or marriage. Bullshit. You can have it all. It is not the best of both worlds. It's just your world. There's nothing sexier than two people that love their own individual lives and come together to make a bomb-ass story. It's not necessary to shame a woman into submission in order for her to have a good relationship. You can both be strong, decisive breadwinners and decide how you want to run your house together. It's nobody else's business. Guys, I swear to God.
Okay. Just other than your stupid head thing you keep doing there. I also think that's a good point, though. That, and this is where I say, like, I agree with the old type of feminism, like the 1950s, like a woman shouldn't be property, rely on a bad man. Because what she's saying is, like, back in the day, like in the 1950s, if you got stuck with an asshole, you were stuck with him. You didn't have the right to have your own job, your own house, your own bank account, stuff like that. Like, if you ended up with an abusive dude, you were shit out of luck until they died. Like, and so that's the feminism where I'm like, okay, I can get on board. And that's kind of where the term, like we were talking about earlier, the term feminism came from that back in the day. The feminism now is a whole breed of its own. But I think there is something to be said behind what she's saying, though, where you can still have independent lives and a good, normal relationship together. Like, because too much reliance on one another in certain ways can lead to very toxic spaces. There could be that toxic reliance on one another that creates a very unhealthy relationship. Do you get where I'm going?
This is my thought. Do you think her guy comes home or whatever? I guess they're living apart.
Boy, stop focusing on her as a person and start focusing on what the hell she's saying. This is supposed to be.
I am, but I mean, I kind of take it to where, like, she's the kind of person that will always ask why. You know, like no matter what he says, why? Well, because of this. Why? Because this happens. Why? I mean, that's kind of what I get from her. And again, it could be a front. I don't know, but she's a lot to take at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, she's a lot to take from.
Just look at the context of what we're talking about, though, Trent. Let me reel you in real quick. I got you. So if two people can healthily live separate lives, but also have a healthy life under the same roof and a healthy relationship. Okay, go.
Okay, you're saying separate lives, like they don't live together?
No, like we could be independent people. Like I can go out and have
yeah.
my job, and I can have friends without you
Yeah.
blowing me up and telling me I'm cheating on you and whatever. And you can have your life, but then we can still come home after work
Yeah, most
and have a
definitely.
beautiful
Because
relationship in the same house.
because the biggest flaw that any relationship has is you live that single life, on your own. I mean, it's who you are. It's what's made you who you are. Now you get together with somebody else, and all of a sudden there's that whole we should do things together. And yeah, you should do things together, but at the same time, there's also something about that individuality of that person to have their space, have their time, to have their moment. Not everything needs to be shared. I mean, there are times you do that, not every time. And, you know, kind of like, we're an hour into this thing already, and it's time to get the show off the air, but we're still talking. Look, it's to use something out of my life. All right, I do professional wrestling on once a month. I would love it if my family would come and see what I do, but they don't feel like that's necessary for them. Now, I've gotten my son to be a part of it. He rings a bell. He has a lot of fun, but I would love for my daughters and my wife, whatever she is, to come out and come see what I would do. They choose not to because that's my own thing. They don't not into that, and they would rather do something else. And does that bother me as a human being? Yeah, it bothers me because that shows they don't support what I do. But now, having said that, I've done this for the last 8 years. They've been to one show. You know, there is a way to sit there and go, well, they don't really care because they show very little interest. Only going to one show in 8 years. Whereas, how many times have I gone to so and so event that they've been a part of?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are times that I can't make it. And I'm like, hey, go, I got you. I hope for none of the best for you. Do what you got to do. Bring home the gold, whatever the deal is. Just do what you got to do because there's a greater good for that. Maybe I'm staying home with a kid who can't sit still. Those kind of things. Maybe I'm, trying to. Maybe I have other things. Maybe I have a job at that point. Who knows? That I have to work. So there are times where you have to set those standards out there. Go accomplish on your own. I got you. No problem. Come back. We'll talk about it. Awesome. But when you don't do that, that's a problem.
Or when it becomes so codependent that it becomes toxic. Like
Yeah.
if you're not allowed to go do something without asking permission of the other person, or every time you go to do something, you feel like you're doing something wrong, or the person just can't survive without you there. Like there's something to where the codependency becomes very unhealthy.
Well, let's say I came home from work every day. Hey, I'm gonna go out with my buddy Bo. We're gonna go watch a movie. Okay, cool. That's Monday. Tuesday comes around. Hey, me and Damien are gonna go out and go get dinner, and I'll be home late. Okay, it's Tuesday. Then Wednesday. Hey, me and Eugene are gonna go out and go play pool because it's just our Wednesday night to go play pool. Okay. Then Thursday comes. Hey, I'm get off work. I'm gonna go see that movie. Okay. So like, what have you done with this person, right? Like you every day you have lived a separate life from them. You have to know how to divide that. You can't just always go off and go do your own thing and come home and go, okay, now it's our relationship. When that person's like, I was kind of forgotten about, you know. So I get all that. But at the same time, when you set up those boundaries to where, I would much rather us do things together. Okay, what about Bo, Damien, Eugene? Yeah, I know that, but you're with me now, so it's more me. See, that becomes toxic at that point, right? Not that I had that happen, but I'm just saying. I mean, there is that mindset that well, what if it goes into that area, and how do you and like case in point, like there'd be times where I was living at home, my wife would sit there and go, hey, me and some of the people from the so and so group that we're a part, we're gonna get together and have drinks. You go with that? Sure, go have fun. I got this. I'll sit home. I'll play video games. I'll me and Cooper will watch movies, whatever it goes. And that's fine. She'd come home and then and like you know, there'd be sometimes where she'd have that whole God, I feel so guilty. I was why? Go have fun. Go be you. You know, you're not gonna change. So, you know, because I would want that in return. You know, I'd want the idea that hey, I'm gonna go hang out with so and so because. But I hate the one. Hey, because you hung out with so and so, I'm gonna go hang out with so and so. You know, I would hate that. You know.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's unhealthy. I don't know, man. It's a lot
I guess
of,
the point of today is that there's thought-provoking conversations behind this, but it's all in the way that sometimes you present the conversation.
right, very much so.
And this is a perfect thing for what we were saying in the beginning, though, is that there is middle ground to be had if you're willing to listen. But
Right.
you know, you got to be able to listen. And if you're only in your own mind, or you only watch what you like to watch, or whatever, and you don't venture out, then you can tunnel vision yourself. You can Wiley yourself, where you're only seeing one point of view.
Right, exactly. Good luck with all that. All right, guys.
Happy Monday. We're going to start our week, guys, with keep your horizons open and your mind open.
All right. Also, follow us on Facebook at The Daily Grind. Of course, subscribe to us. Best way to find us, Daily Grind Trey. You'll see our picture. Like us. And, of course, follow us on Instagram at _daily_grind_. That will...
And I promise my next videos will be a different person to give Trey a little bit of a break. But
yes, Laura, thank you.
I don't, you know, I do think it's where we were both raised that also plays a part in that. I can kind of see past the voice to the stuff underneath just because I was raised by such superficial people, you know, in LA. But, you know, I'll switch it up on you every now and again. Not saying you're never going to see another video ever again.
Oh, I know. I know. I'll be more prepared for it because I'll get one of those Looney Tunes. Shut up. Whatever videos that are on top of that. But no, look. I mean, look. She has a purpose. Good for her. I'm glad she does. And no, and she engages a lot of people out there who will follow her on any which way she goes. Fair enough. I mean,
she tricked me into buying the ass crack pants. I bought them.
There you go. See, look. It's kind of like in Hollywood, right? You'll see an actor or an actress that you like a lot, and you'll sit there and you'll follow them to whatever. Like my buddy Bo, right? Huge Bruce Willis fan. He took me to go see Unbreakable one day. That movie's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, I did not like it at all. But he tried to. I'm trying like hell to like that movie. I'm trying like hell. I just can't do it. I'm like, I just don't like it then. No. It's Bruce Willis. I gotta like it. I'm like, okay, look. I love the Die Hard movies. Die Hard 5 was a piece of shit, though. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. So, look, not everything they do is gonna be a hit. Hudson Hawk was not a hit. Okay, I don't care how you look at it. It was not a hit. Even he mentions that it was a piece of shit movie. It just look, I get it. You know, I mean, you are triggered. People are triggered some way, somehow, to think this way because they find something that fits their mindset. I understand that. You know, and the thing is, you got to look beyond that sometimes. You know, what's the meaning of her message on that type thing to me? You know, I mean, to me, she comes across angry. But then again, maybe she's been used to the system quite a bit. Now she developed all these thoughts that made her who she is, and has given her a character to go on TikTok and show off to people who are going to follow her. That can happen too. So kudos to her. She found the niche, and it's worked out for her. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. It's all it's worth. Anyway, that's gonna be it. I mean, while I'm here, delete that video. Delete that video.
Oh my God, Trey! Just roll the credits.
No, I'm not done yet. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. See you all tomorrow.